Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I want to talk about something, and I can't say I ever thought I would open a YouTube guitar video with a quote from The Face of Bodybuilding, but I really do love that quote. The worst thing you can ever do is think you know enough. With guitar players in particular, there seems to be this stigma around knowing your theory. If you're new here, I teach guitar online for a living. I create YouTube lessons that people can watch for free. But at the same time, if they want to know more about the stuff that I share on YouTube, I also sell an instructional course on Udemy and I have a new one coming out in the summer. Whenever I teach something like a lick or anything to do with harmony, really, I make a real effort to highlight the theory behind that lick so that people watching who have an understanding of fundamental music theory, which really isn't that hard to learn when it's taught the right way, so that people can take that knowledge and use it to their advantage to get the most out of that lesson and improve their playing as a result. And on almost all of my more popular videos, whether it's my video about Stevie Ray Vaughan and his use of the flat nine interval, or Jimi Hendrix and his use of triads, or John Mayer and his note choices for soloing in major keys. On all those videos, there's always at least one self-conscious asshole who will leave a comment, the overall message of which is usually about how he's better than me or better than you because he just plays the guitar. He doesn't know or care about the theory, he just plays what he feels. It all comes from the soul, it all comes from the heart. You know what I mean? You've probably read comments like that before, and their justification for this is usually linked to some legendary player who maybe also didn't know that much about theory but was amazing and influential anyway. Common examples that will crop up time and time again are Stevie Ray Vaughan and Hendrix. From reading about both of these extremely influential players, it's safe to assume that whilst they were undoubtedly very creative musicians, they maybe didn't know exactly what was going on all the time with regards to the theory behind their playing. And that's fine. I'm not saying that every musician should, by law, be forced to learn music theory. Hendrix may not have known what intervals create a diminished chord, and he might not have known how to sight read music. But to claim that the things he didn't know are what made him great is just an insane conclusion to reach. Because that's basically what you're saying if you're making that comparison. Insert name of legendary guitar player, didn't know this, and he was great. So if I continue to not learn that thing, I will also be great. If you have made that claim before, then seriously think about that. For one, you are not Jimi Hendrix, okay? If you're scrolling through YouTube looking for guitar lessons and you're spending that time leaving shitty hate comments on people who clearly know more than you do, all that says to anyone with any sense is that you are frustrated about your playing ability and you're a bit self-conscious about it. If you've been playing for 20 odd years, they'll usually include that in their argument. You know, I've been playing since before you were born and I played at this bar in the 80s with this guy and whatever. If that's been your attitude that entire time, then it is unlikely that you're going to be a game changer in the guitar world the way that Hendrix was. So, you know, feel free to stay at the same level for another 20 years. Meanwhile, the rest of us can carry on improving. Now, the really funny thing about this is that Hendrix was a keen learner. Like all other musicians, he wasn't completely satisfied with his musical ability. He knew that he was never done learning, as evidenced by this quote from the man himself. My initial success was a step in the right direction, but it was only a step. Now I plan to get into many other things. I'd like to take a 6-month break and go to a school of music. I want to learn to read music, be a model student, and study and think. I'm tired of trying to write stuff down and finding that I can't. I want a big band. I don't mean 3 harps and 14 violins. I mean a big band full of competent musicians that I can conduct and write for. So the next time that you want to cry out, but Hendrix didn't sight read or Hendrix didn't know theory, maybe he didn't when he was alive, but he recognized the importance of being able to do that, and he expressed that he wanted to be able to do that before he sadly passed away at a young age. So just think about that the next time you want to, shame someone for knowing more than you, or use that as an excuse for being unwilling to learn more about the instrument you apparently enjoy playing. Another common remark that you'll hear from some musicians about theory is that theory limits their creativity. What? So you learned how to play the major scale and you were suddenly incapable of being creative? Did learning to handwrite impair your ability to communicate with people? Oh, I don't think I even have to explain why that makes no sense. Theory is the language that musicians use to communicate and articulate their ideas with. When you learn the language of music, when you learn music theory, your ability to create is ultimately enhanced. It can only be enhanced. The notion that you could somehow get worse at guitar for learning more about it is absolutely absurd. Theory concepts like scales and chords can be seen as tools for musicians. When you have plenty of tools at your disposal, like scales, chords, reharmonization techniques, chord progressions, knowledge of major scale harmony, your ability to create as a musician, your ability to communicate your ideas effectively with other musicians, your ability to adapt to different musical situations, all of that improves tenfold. I'm mostly preaching to the guitar players out there who are not simply hobbyists, though if you are a hobbyist and you play guitar, that's not to say that you shouldn't feel the need to learn music theory if you want to. Because if you want to have a real shot at becoming a professional guitar player, professional meaning you play guitar for a full-time living, doing stuff like session work, which could be, recording in studios, performing live with various different artists, doing theater work, or things that wouldn't be considered session work, like teaching guitar. Basically anything that requires you to interact with other musicians. If you're aspiring to do those things, you do not want to be the guy or girl that is viewed as the incompetent musician. Because guess what? You won't be hired again if you can't do basic things like change the key of a song that has 3 chords in it, or play chords that aren't just major and minor bar chord shapes. There are too many good guitar players out there who are your competition and who will take those jobs from you if you prove to be incapable of doing them. And I think it's worth noting that you don't have to go crazy with music theory. It's easy to either feel confused or inspired by watching someone like Jacob Collier talk about the super ultra hyper meta Lydian scale. I don't know if that is exactly what he was talking about, but you know what I mean. Crazy advanced theory stuff. You don't have to go that far with it if you don't want to. That's your choice. But getting to grips with the basics of major scale harmony, intervals, scale construction, chord construction, the circle of fourths and how you can use it to visualize notes on the fretboard. Those are all fundamental concepts that are really not that hard to understand when they're demonstrated to you by another guitar player. They're basic things that go a hell of a long way. Spend a month learning basic music theory and your ability to visualize the fretboard, to improvise in any key, to create interesting chord progressions and discover new chord voicings. I really can't stress enough just how much of a difference that will make to your guitar playing if you just take 1 month of your life to focus on learning the fundamentals of music theory. That is something that will continue to improve your guitar playing for the rest of your life, not just the 1 month that you spend learning it. So if you're a guitar player watching this and you feel frustrated that you can't articulate your ideas to other musicians, or that you can't visualize scales on the fretboard or create cool chord progressions. As I mentioned at the start of this video, I have an instructional guitar course available for purchase on Udemy called Bulletproof Guitar Player. And the focus of it is to give guitar players fundamental theory tools that they can use to advance their guitar playing to a professional level. I was very careful about picking the right material to teach in that course, and as a result, you won't learn anything that you can't use to become a better guitar player. So if you are interested in learning more about the course and the actual content of it, check out the link in the description below. With that, you will get a 50% off coupon, so you can pick it up for around $20 or £20. And on that webpage, you will be able to read up about the actual contents of the course and read the reviews. The course itself is 4 hours worth of video lessons along with PDF attachments, but if you practice and internalize the material that I teach in that course, I guarantee you it will last you a lifetime. If you don't want to learn theory and you're not aspiring to become a professional guitar player, maybe guitar for you is just something that you do for fun, it's a hobby, that's totally fine. But don't make the mistake of thinking that you're smarter for not knowing something. There is no pride to take in a lack of knowledge. I wasn't good at physics in school. I don't take pride in that. Okay everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on this topic by leaving a comment in the comment section below. I'd really like to hear about your experiences with music theory. Maybe you've had a negative experience with it in the past and that's why you're skeptical about it now. Or maybe you've seen a really positive change to your guitar playing because you started learning music theory. Either way, if you've got something to share, please do let us know by leaving a comment. If you like this video, guys, please give it a thumbs up below and click subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next one.